This truck is just a beat up old workhorse that has made me a lot of money, and I want to continue like that. So for now, I'm just going to replace the brakes because stopping is going to be necessary at some point. While we're under here, you should check the rotor for deep gouges. If you let your brakes wear down to the metal and you heard that horrible grinding sound when you were stopping, chances are you blew out your rotor. And they don't turn them on a lathe anymore nowadays. You just gotta replace it. And my auto supply store charges $72 per rotor. So if you want to avoid that cost, then don't let your brakes go all the way down to metal. And the easiest way to do this job is to open up the caliper all the way while it's still on the car. And to do that, we have to loosen up the bleeder screw and pry on the rear pad until it's all the way open. And then while you have pressure on it, close the bleeder screw. And this will cut off any air being sucked back into the system. And people say not to do this, to take the caliper off the car, but some calipers are impossible to get off while the caliper is closed. If you can get the caliper off the car without opening the caliper all the way up, go ahead and do that. And then you can open it up all the way with the C-clamp. Alright, there's two bolts holding the caliper on. Both of them are Allen heads. Here's the top one here. They go in from the back. And here's the bottom one here. The brake pads are held onto the caliper with just a clip, and usually once you get the caliper off the car, you can just, pry them off with a screwdriver, big screwdriver, or just pull them off by hand. I put the new brakes onto the caliper, starting with the rear one. It's always best to do the easiest one and just kind of push it and clip it into place into the piston area. And the outside one's a little bit tricky, and you'll see where it all lines up and it fits into little divots in the caliper, and just clip it into place and put the caliper back on the rotor and go ahead and put the bolts in and tighten them back up. Okay, before you put the wheel back on, double check the caliper bolts and make sure you tighten both of them, and double check the bleeder screw and make sure that's tight. But we're going to come back a little bit later and we'll go ahead and bleed the brakes. Right now I don't have a helper with me, but we'll get this done before this video is over. And just for a quick refresher course, in case you missed anything or you kind of zoned out, we're going to go ahead and do the passenger side too. So in the bleeding process, you're getting a friend or a relative or the mailman, anybody can get to just pump up your brakes 5 or 6 times and hold the brake to the floor. Now, when you release this bleeder screw, the brake is going to go to the floor, and the person pumping up the brakes cannot let go of that brake pedal, because if they do, it's going to suck air back into the system and you're going to have to start all over again. And do this for every wheel that you worked on. 5 or 6 times pumped up and hold it down, and while they're doing that, you just release the air from the bleeder screw and then tighten it back up while their foot is holding the brake to the floor. And that's about it for the bleeding process. So in this process, we just lost a whole lot of brake fluid, so don't forget to top off your master cylinder and you're done.